Hey everybody, I'm your host, Stephen Garofalo. Welcome back to Reason for Truth. Remember, the truth comes first, reasons come last. We're always constantly learning because we stop learning, we stop teaching. We at least stop teaching well. I ran into a great article here today that I want to talk about. House passes Deterrent Act to track foreign money on U.S. college campuses. The reason why I found this fascinating and I think very instructful for all of us is simply for one reason. We see the world turned upside down. Money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Great example here. One of the problems we have in our country, these universities are just taking money and they don't really care about their country. Matter of fact, I would say they don't care about their students. This explains some of the unbelievably anti-Semitic talk that's going on, especially in our Ivy League schools. So I think it's great that House passes the Deterrent Act to track foreign money on U.S. college campuses. You're not going to believe who's giving money to U.S. college campuses. While we're taking loans, I don't want to do that. Well, I won't do that for my kids. We just have to figure out a way not to do it. I'm not going to borrow from the government to give to another government school or to a private school. But at the end of the day, all of this is one big racket. So you have countries that are giving money. What do you think they're getting? What do you think Qatar is giving money out of the love of the American public to help people get educated? I don't think so. Let me read the article. It's by Christian Business Network, which I think is great. Published right December 8th, 2023, 11:47.39 a.m. by Matt Galka. It says this: with the rise of anti-Semitic incidents at universities around the country, some question whether foreign money pouring into the universities and is influencing what students are being taught on campus. Let me pause for just a minute. There's an old saying that I grew up with. You don't hear it much anymore. My mom used to say, my brothers used to say, my uncles and aunts used to say, Stephen, nothing's for nothing. What you're talking about, especially in the only time nothing's for nothing is when God's agape love comes to you. That's the only unconditional nothing's for nothing. Outside of that, listen, if you got Qatar giving you $1 million, China's giving you $10 million, they're expecting something in return. What do you think? You're just that naive to think out of the goodness of their heart, they're just doing that because they love people they don't even know that are not in their country? Doesn't work that way. Goes on to say members of Congress would like to know at least where the money's coming from. To learn more about the effort, CBN News sat down with the sponsor of the Deterrent Act, a bill that would put greater scrutiny on universities to show where they're getting their funding from. And who none other than California Republican Congresswoman Michelle Steele says that universities are already required to disclose major gifts from foreign entities, but they're not doing it. Now, hold on a second. No, you're kidding me. Are you telling me Penn State and Harvard, schools like that, are breaking the law? Really? Hold on a second. I got all this hoopla on TV of politicians being put in jail or being prosecuted or persecuted, however you want to look at it. And then you're telling me that they're not complying with the law? Well, should they be put out of business? Well, let me read on. There's already a law when you receive over $250,000 from foreign entities, you're supposed to report it. But 70% of all universities never comply with that. Rep. Steele told CBN Matt Galka. A major concern of Steele's is and others is why the money's coming in. The big question is the why, especially if it's coming in from countries at odds with the United States. China has been known to be one of the largest sources of foreign money flooding into American universities for the past decade. UC Berkeley received over how much? Sitting down? $242 million from China. And guess what they did? They brought Chinese officials and Chinese researchers and showed their sensitive research center. It's not acceptable, says Rep. Steele. Steele's Deterrent Act is set up to require stricter reporting documents for universities when it comes to foreign money. I would say if you broke the law, you either pay a fine and or if it's broken a law, it sounds to me like criminal law has been broken here. Well, they should just enforce the law. That's all I'm saying. If that means people go to jail or get put to trial, then listen, may the chips fall. But it lowers the threshold here from 250,000 to 50,000. It's one of the things they want to do, because if they say 250,000 and someone's given 250,000, what are they going to do? They're going to go ahead and give 249 or 200. So they just said, hey, 50,000. Schools would have to report any dollar amount from Iran, China, Russia, and North Korea. Very friendly countries to the United States. Obviously, I'm being facetious. Why? Hold on. Why would any country, why would Iran, China, Russia, and North Korea now, why would they give money to universities? I would like you to ask you that question. Anybody wants to put a comment below, would love to hear it. The rise of anti-Semitism on campuses also concerns Steele and her colleagues. Money has come from Qatar, which is one 2020 study from the Institute of the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and policy showing a link between universities and accepting money from Qatar and the presence of pro-Palestinian groups on those campuses. So in other words, what they're saying is the highest levels, or some of the highest levels, of anti-Semitism and support of Hamas is coming from those where the most amount of money from Qatar's coming from. Listen, you doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. Steele questioned prominent university presidents about foreign influence this week, and when there was a quote, "We have alumni all over the world, and those alumni, through their philanthropy, support student aid, scholarships, cutting-edge research. One thing their philanthropy does not do is influence how we run the university, how we enforce our policies, or how we keep our students safe," Harvard president Dr. Claudine Gay told Rep. Steele about foreign influence at her school. Here's my question. Has Harvard reported all of their money coming from foreign entities? Maybe they have. I don't know, but I'd like to know. Then the other question is, just because the president, Miss Gay, just because she says they don't, well, hold on a second. Are you making a case for them? Because now you're involving yourself into saying, as the president, you're responsible for making sure they're not. And if not, perhaps that's a criminal offense. Certainly, if we find out the money's been used in any way, shape, or form, directly or indirectly, we have to make sure that we are not, that money's perhaps given back. Steele says that foreign money coming into college campuses can be summed up with one old adage: there's no such thing as a free lunch. Remember, there's nothing for nothing. Listen, I'm not buying it. They said they are not influenced. Our students never get the propaganda. Our students are not influenced by the money. Really? But you know what? It's a joke, Rep. Steele said. The Deterrent Act passed the House with bipartisan support this week, now heads to the Senate, and Steele's hopeful that the momentum will get something done before year's end. I think this is great. I think our universities are just sickened with all kinds of sin and payoffs. We have to just pull this root evil from the United States of money. You know, these professors, it's amazing how they'll go ahead and turn on their country and give out sensitive data and go along with this Hamas stuff for what? For $5,000-$10,000. Why? They feel like, hey, listen, I only make $80,000 or I only make $50,000 as a professor, so I can justify taking the $10,000 because I don't get paid enough. Baloney. Go get another job. Let's make sure we put God first. Let's make sure that we put country second and number third. Let's make sure that we do the right thing. I don't care if you're Jewish or Muslim. We don't want to kill any of these people. Christian, we should treat everybody fairly. Nobody should be allowed to do the things that we're seeing with anti-Semitism. Nobody. We got to protect all people. So God's blessings to you. Listen, thanks for tuning in here at my rant today. I thought it was important. Make sure you do a couple things. Subscribe, like, share this with others. Make sure you hit that little alert bell down there. And we'll see you at the next video. I'm your host, Stevie Garofalo. This is He Reads It for Truth for today.